Thank you very much, Greg. And is Sue still here? The lights are very bright. Thank you very much, Sue. What a fantastic way to set the bar and set the questions, I think, that are going to guide a lot of us over the next 2 days. And it's a bit of a hard act to follow to come onto the stage after Nahi's welcome. I heard Nahi speak last year in Auckland and again this morning. And as an Aussie, g'day mate from me, as a welcome, but you really achieved that in such a short time of actually making me feel like I'm in New Zealand, like I'm in your country. So thanks for that welcome to all of us. Thanks for setting that scene so well. And thanks for Sue. I started out taking notes during your talk of all the things that were relevant and questions, and I put the pen down after a while because there was so much there. It was so densely packed with the sort of questions that we need to be asking ourselves. There are a few people I want to acknowledge before I get back to the topic of leadership a little bit on a practical note. Again, I'd like to acknowledge all of our speakers, Sue and Nahi that have already gone, MC Greg, but particularly many of you run conferences and many of you run events, and you know that they don't come together by themselves, they come together through effort and hard work. And I'd just like to acknowledge the AuSAE team that put their hard work into making this LINC conference possible, particularly Brett Jeffrey, who is our General Manager in New Zealand, also Kerry, who is our Events Manager, Tony, our CEO, who's here as well. And if you haven't met our management team, our staff of AuSAE, just like your organisations, they're a really important part of how everything happens. Take the opportunity over the next 2 days to come and say hi, come and get to know them. And picking up on Sue's theme, they would love to, even if they didn't love to already, they now would love to hear you tell them exactly what it is that you think. It's such an important thing. And I was actually I was thinking about, and Sue was talking, I don't know if you have it in your organisations, there's a wonderful thing in my organisation. Wonderful is probably not quite the right word, but it's a really interesting theme where I will meet elderly members, I guess, of our professional association, and they're people that lapsed their membership 15 years ago, and they quite like me, and they'll say, oh, you're doing a good job, you know, the ABA is going well, it's really good. And I'll say, why aren't you a member? And they'll say, because in 1972, the president did something and it really pissed me off and I'm never coming back. And it's so true. These things are held and they're held so deeply, and the little things matter in the negative. But it's so true as well that the positive of actually just walking around sharing information is such a powerful thing. So do have a chat to Tony and Kerry and Brett. Do let them know what's on your mind. Let them know what you think about us and what you think about what we're doing. On that note as well, we've got a couple of our directors here. Glenn Harris, who's the Vice President, Damien Mitch and Lynn McMorrin. They'll be here over the next 2 days. And one of the things that we're looking to do on Tuesday afternoon is get some feedback from you. Part of our role as a board is to govern well and to lead an organisation that's responsive to what's going on in the environment now, to where we're going in the future. And there's a discussion on Tuesday afternoon about how we do that in terms of our constitution and our governance structures. So we really want as many people as we possibly can to be part of it. I've got to apologise, and again I was listening to Sue and going, oh, that remote guy. AuSAE has a bad habit of managing to schedule conferences at times when I need to be somewhere else. And right now I need to be in London. So I have managed to get here for last night and today, but I actually have to catch a plane at 5 p.m. and get over to Europe. So I won't be here with you for the rest of the 2 days, which I'm very sad about. But I look forward to seeing some of today and to getting the feedback about how the event went. And finally, I'd just like to thank our supporters and exhibitors that are out there in the other room as well. Again, many of you do this as part of your core business as well, and you know that not only here at this event, but in terms of doing what we do generally, in terms of delivering results, in terms of delivering our education program, we can't do it without our annual partners. We can't do this without the people out on the floor. And I think more importantly, you know, we view AuSAE very much as a community, and those exhibitors, those supporters aren't separate to the community, they're part of it. So please make sure you do take the opportunity to make sure you get to know them, find out what they're doing. And part of what I'll be talking about in a minute is about, you know, trying to think about the trends, trying to think about what's going on out there and how they work. And those exhibitors and those people are a really good way of finding out a little bit more about the things that are going on around us out there. So I guess interesting, really, as I said, a really good start. And I'm assuming that you're all here to lead, and you wouldn't stump up the money and come to a leadership conference and give up 2 days of your time if you weren't here to be a better leader. And I hesitate to use the word better. I don't think it's about being a better leader. I think I like Sue's comment. It's probably about being a different leader. How do I bring new things into my arsenal that I have of being a leader? How do I do things differently? How do I get some fresh ideas? So you're here to learn, you're here to lift yourself, you're here to develop. And I'm going to steal Sue's quote, which she stole from Tom Peters, I think, which is to measurably help others succeed. And when I think about this organisation, when I think about AuSAE, and when I think about why I first joined the board and then why I put my hand up and took on the sort of great honour of being the president of an association like this, that's our purpose. We're here to help you succeed. And I've always seen that very much as the role of AuSAE. We're here to help you succeed as individuals, but there is a greater purpose to that. We're here to help you succeed as individuals because we actually see that by doing that, the organisations that you lead, the organisations that you work with, by having you succeed, they deliver on their mission, on their purpose, and we understand how important those missions are and how important those purposes are. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I said we're a community. That community is of about 12,000 people. It's a really broad church. There are people like me, professional organisations, there are industry organisations, there are charities, there are health-based organisations. There are so many of us coming together, and that of course creates an incredibly rich environment to do what we're all about, you know, learn from each other, learn from speakers, network, build connections, build relationships, and all of those things come together to help you develop your leadership and help you succeed in your role. I guess my final comment's probably, you know, Sue has almost picked up on most of my themes, but I think the theme of leadership, I want to come at from a slightly different angle, which is we live in kind of interesting times, and I think a lot of that relates to perceptions of leadership at the highest levels when it comes to corporate Australia and New Zealand and the world, when it comes to government. So we live in the time of Brexit. We live in the time when you would elect Donald Trump as the President of the United States, one of the most powerful roles in the world. If you are Aussies, you live in a world where for the last 8 years we turn over governments at the rate of about one a year. We have leaders conducting coups on other leaders. We have governments that cling to minorities and have no mandate and we can't affect change. We live in a world where the Wallabies beat the All Blacks in the last game of the Bledisloe. Very, very crazy. Very, very crazy. So we live in interesting times, but I think what characterises those times and what the message, and this is what the commentary is, isn't it? The message behind the election of Trump, the message behind Brexit, the message behind so much of this stuff is disaffection. And I think I'm kind of paraphrasing what Sue was saying. Disaffection with leadership, or the lack of it, or the perceived lack of it. And I think when you think about what we do and the roles that we fill, I think we occupy a really powerful place in these interesting times. Our core business is membership. And if you think about membership and how that operates in the business world, I'm a member of the Qantas Frequent Flyer program. I'm sure some Aussies are as well. What's the most valuable, what's the jewel in the crown of the Qantas Corporation? It's not domestic, it's not international, it's the loyalty program, it's the membership program. It's the most valuable bit of their business. And membership is all around us. There are so many membership programs. So our core business has incredible value. And that's been recognised by the rest of the world. And I think it's really important that we recognise that ourselves and recognise that that competency that we have is so valuable in achieving the things that Sue's talking about. Governance. I know that many of the discussions over the next 2 days will be about governance. But the difference in our organisation, we actively pursue good governance. Genuinely actively pursue good governance. We go after it. We try to lift it. We try to improve it. Engagement. We actively listen to a talk like that and go, everyone's writing down, I've got to get out there and start talking to all my members and get it down, because we actively, genuinely want to engage better. We want to hear from members. We want to deliver more value. And we want transparency. That whole piece that I think is missing in the leadership when we look at the big end of town, that's what we're after. We want transparency. We want to genuinely be able to show members what we do and take feedback from them. So that's who we are. And I think that's who we are in this room, and that's who we are as a sector. And I think my note at the moment is that's something to be enormously proud of. You know, I don't look at myself as an association leader and think I'm a second-class citizen compared to the CEO of a bank. Quite the opposite, in fact. I think we've got something to be enormously proud of. I think our sector's got something to be enormously proud of. And I think everybody in this room is a leader, not only as a leader now, but as a leader who's made the investment and the effort to come along and learn how to lift that and do that even better, and with even more passion and with even more drive, has got something to be very proud about as well. So I hope you have a wonderful time over the next 2 days. I am now going to walk over there do some sort of quick change and then come back up again and give a talk. But have a wonderful LINC. I'm sorry I won't be here with you for all of it, but be inspired, network, build new relationships, have a fantastic time, and lead refreshed and be proud of what we do. Thanks very much.